Good morning, class. Today we are working on Unit 3, Lesson 2, and we're going to be talking about multiplication with non-unit fractions. And yesterday, remember, everything was a unit fraction. It was 1/5, 1/4, 1/3, 1/15, and so on. Today we're going to be talking about non-unit fractions such as 2/3, 3/8, 2/9, 3/4, and the process is the same. But I'm going to show you some examples so that we can continue our practice, but the process stays the same when you're multiplying a unit fraction or a non-unit fraction. So let's go ahead and complete number 1 together. Again, same as we practiced in class yesterday. Okay, 2/3 times 15. When we have a whole number, like we do here, the number 15, we have to make that number into a fraction. In order to make that into a fraction, we take the whole number and all we do is write the whole number over 1. So now what we have is 2/3 times 15 over 1, and that is going to be pretty simple to multiply because we multiply straight across each time. 2 times 15 is equal to 30. And 3 times 1 is equal to 3. Then we can see that we are left with an improper fraction, which means we need to reduce. And so we need to ask ourselves, how many times can the denominator, in this case it's 3, go into the numerator, 30, without going over? Well, we know 3 can go into 30 10 times, because 3 times 10 is 30. So your answer is going to be 10. Go ahead and write your 10 on the line. Let's practice a few more together just to make sure that you're still with me. Refresh your memory from yesterday and continue on a little bit here. Number 2 reads 3/4 times 8. 3/4 times 8. We have to take that whole number and turn it into a fraction. And in order to turn a whole number into a fraction, again, we take that number and write it over 1. So now what we have is 3/4 times 8 over 1. And in order to multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. 3 times 8 is equal to 24. 4 times 1 is equal to 4. Again, we're left with an improper fraction. And in order to figure that out, we ask ourselves, how many times can the denominator, in this case it's 4, go into the numerator, which is 24, without going over? Well, we know that 4 times 6 is equal to 24, so your answer is going to be 6. You can go ahead and write 6 on the line. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. And I know that a lot of kids, when they see numbers that start getting really big, get frustrated, and they get frustrated quickly. Let me show you a trick here. So what number 3 reads is 7/8 times 32. And we know that we would write 32 as a fraction. All we have to do is write 32 over 1. And I have kids who are going to say, I don't want to have to multiply 7 times 32. It's going to give me a huge number, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to reduce from there. So here's a trick for you. We did this in our first unit, and what we're going to do is we're going to cross-reduce here. And we have a denominator here of 8. We have a numerator here of 32. And I can figure out how many times 8 can go into 32 because it goes into 32 evenly. 8 times 4 is 32. So if I reduced and I took 8 divided by 8, here 8 divided by 8, that becomes a 1. And if I took 32 divided by 8, that becomes a 4. So now what my fraction reads is 7 over 1 times 4 over 1. And that makes your reducing a whole lot easier. 7 times 4 is equal to 28, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And 28 over 1 is equal to 28. And so your answer for number 3 is 28. And you can see how that cross-reducing really takes out some steps. And let me show you how you would complete that problem if I didn't cross-reduce, and you'd see what you're left with and how much you have to reduce. If you were going to just multiply straight across here, and you were going to do it this way, it would be 7 times 32, and that's equal to 224 over 8 times 1, which is equal to 8. So what you'd have to do in that case then is figure out how many times can 8 go into 224 without going over. And so you can create a division problem here and figure out 8 cannot go into 2. 8 can go into 22 twice, which is 16, and then you can subtract. This becomes a 12, this becomes a 1. 12 minus 6 is 6, 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, do your check. 6 here is less than 8, so you're good. Bring down your 4, and 8 can go into 64 8 times, because 8 times 8 is 64, and so it would reduce to 28, which is what you ended up with here. And you can see how that takes just a little bit longer. You can get to the exact same answer, and you can do it either way, but if you cross-reduce, as we did in the example, it just helps save you a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and look at number 5 for more practice together. Number 5 reads 3/8 times 56. Well, we have to write 56 as a fraction, and that means that we take the whole number, which is 56, and write it over 1. So now we have 3/8 times 56 over 1. I'm going to choose to cross-reduce, and in this case I have 8 as the denominator and 56 as the numerator over here, and I know that 8 can go in to 56. And so if I took 8 and I divided 8 by 8, I'm going to be left with 1. And then if I took 56 and I divided 56 by 8, I'm going to be left with 7, because 8 times 7 is equal to 56. So now what I have is 3 over 1 times 7 over 1. And now I can just multiply straight across. 7 times 3 is equal to 21, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And 21 over 1 is equal to 21. And so your answer for number 5 is 21. Again, practicing with that cross-reducing really brings things back for you and makes it much easier to reduce your end fraction. Complete one more of these multiplication problems together. On the top, let's go ahead and let's do number 15 together. Number 15, we have 4/15 times 45. I need to make 45 the whole number into a fraction, and so that's going to be 45 over 1. And bring down my 4/15. Okay, this is another case where I can cross-reduce because I know that 15 can go into 45 evenly 3 times, right? Because 15 times 3 is equal to 45. So I'm going to go ahead and look here at my 15. If I divided 15 by 15, that's equal to 1. So my fraction here is 4 over 1. If I take my 45 here and I divide it by 15, it's equal to 3, because 15 times 3 is equal to 45. So my new fraction here is 3 over 1. So I have 4 times 3 is equal to 12, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 12 over 1 is equal to 12. And so number 15, your answer here, is 12. We're now going to look down to the bottom, and you have 4 word problems or story problems. And we'll go ahead and do a couple together, and you can do a couple on your own. Number 16 reads, Rebecca has 21 math problems to solve. She has solved 2/7 of them. How many problems has she solved? Well, we see that word of, everybody, and we've been practicing that over and over again. So we have 2/7 of, and the number of math problems are 21. So 2/7 of 21. Remember, when we see of, we know that that means times, just like we've been practicing over and over again. We need to look at our whole number and write it as a fraction, and 21 written as a fraction is 21 over 1. And of means multiply, and we have 2/7. Now, here you can again cross-reduce. If you look, you have 7ths as the denominator here, and the numerator here is 21, and 7 can go into 21 evenly because we know 7 times 3 is 21. So we're going to divide both top and bottom over here, bottom by 7. So here we're left with 2 over 1 because 7 divided by 7 is 1. And we're going to divide by 7 over here, and 21 divided by 7 is 3 over 1. And then we can just multiply straight across. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 1 times 1 is equal to 1. So our answer here is going to be 6 problems. please remember to include your labels. They're very important. All right, we'll look at one more together. Let's complete 17 together. Tessa shot 36 free throws. She made 27 of them. What fraction of her 3 free throws did she make? So she shot a total of 36 free throws. So the total number is our denominator. And of those 36 free throws that she shot, she made 27 of them. So we have 27 over 36. 27 made out of 36 total free throws shot. And when you know your multiplication tables pretty well, this one is really easy to reduce because I know that 9 can go into 27 because 9 is a factor of 27 and 36 is a factor of 27. So if I took 27 and I divided by 9 and 36 and divided by 9, I know that 27 divided by 9 is equal to 3 and 36 divided by 9 is equal to 4. And so your answer here is 3/4. All right, so you can go ahead and complete the rest of your page on your own. And when you're finished, check your work, take a picture, attach it to the assignment, upload it to Teams, and turn it in. Thank you.